Morning now. Ms. Brown. Okay.
Right now, this is your WHUC Sports, Hinds' very own.
Okay, welcome back to Sports Journal, where we talk about all things sports. I'm Tyrese Druel, from the field of Starkville and Kemper County to the lights of the NFL and now the sidelines at Hinds Community College. Today we welcome a true football mind, Coach Chris Jones. He's here to talk about his incredible journey and how he plans to lead the Eagles back to greatness. Thank you, Coach, for joining us today.
Thanks for having me, Tyler. Appreciate you.
Okay, so for those who may not know, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
I'm Chris Jones, man. I'm born and raised. I'm a Mississippi kid. Small town, big town in my mind, Sugar Lock, Mississippi. Like I said, I grew up, we farmed, we had horses, cows, whatever, chickens. Grew up riding tractors. I'm probably 8 years old, driving tractors and all that good stuff. But small town with the Knoxville County High School. Played ball there, went on to go to Jackson State, and was blessed and fortunate enough to, just kind of have a cup of coffee in the NFL, the CFL. I played a little arena football, and after that I got into coaching. I went to Louisville. I spent 3 years there. I went to Kemper County, became the head coach. Went to Starkville for 8 years. I won championships in both Kemper County and Starkville. I think we've been to 4 state championships. I think we won. So I've won 2. But just been blessed, man. I've done it with, just being around great people, good support system, wife, kids, parents, coaches, players, couldn't have done it, couldn't be here if it weren't for those around me.
Okay, so, can you touch up on, your decision back when you was younger going to Jackson State? What was your mindset as a high school senior and making your decision on going to that school?
Well, it's different the way, kids have options. Now, I ain't have all them options coming out of high school. I was kind of like you say, a late bloomer. So I didn't have many options. I had a few walk-on opportunities at, some colleges, like Ole Miss. That was an opportunity walk-on. But I only had Alcorn and Jackson State, and I wasn't going, to the reservation. Okay. Jackson State at the time, too, also, they had, I want to say 7 guys to get drafted in the NFL, and, it was a hot spot, great tradition. I had family and relatives to, attend, so it was pretty much a no-brainer. If you want to play ball, you got many options, man. So I wanted to play ball, so it didn't matter to me where I went. But, going there was, one of the best things happened to me. I got a chance to play ball under some great minds, some great coaches, some great teammates. Who also right now current coaches, me and T.C. Taylor, who's on the same team. Right. He's doing a great job, at Jackson State, so just kind of a synopsis of, my journey, I guess you can say. But I'm here, I'm enjoying it, loving Hinds, just looking forward to the challenge, man, of, just being great.
Okay, so you was 3rd all-time in reception and yards. How did that help build your confidence, to move on to the next level?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I really never thought about playing. You just want to go out there and compete, and catch as many balls as you can. But I do kind of remember, towards when it started getting closer, people just kind of coming up to me. You only need so many catches to catch. I want to say at the time it was really Willie Richardson, who's an NFL legend, Jackson State legend. Right. But looking back on it's probably more important, now than it was then, because just understanding all the people who've come through, who played that position, right. So to be able to even be, semi-mentioned, in the names of the greats who, just set the tone, man. I always believe in, the people who come before you, paying respect and, understanding if it wasn't for them, it wouldn't be no me, but as far as confidence-wise, man, I don't really think it did much for my confidence, because I think you got to play with confidence anyway. Yeah, it was just one of them things, just That so happened to happen.
Another achievement.
I'm not a big person to be pat myself on the back and all that good stuff, man.
And stuff like that.
Nah, I don't do all that.
Right, I get what you're saying.
People have to tell me, something good happened because I'm on a day-to-day grind, man, just taking it one day at a time and just trying to be the best I can be every day.
Okay, so take me through your experience in the NFL with the Vikings and the Seahawks. How did that go for you?
It went okay. So I was an undrafted guy, right? So,
right.
My situation is different from most, right? So it was a real grind for me. Right. So when I came out, I was undrafted. I had a few choices. So I was kind of what you can say a priority free agent where I could possibly have got drafted. But during the draft, I was getting calls about, we might not be able to draft you, but would you be interested in coming to, our organization? So you just kind of got to figure out what's the best fit where you have a chance to make the roster. So I thought I chose the right fit, but when I got there, I think we had 16 receivers in the room, and they were only keeping 5, right? So you do that math. So, and I wasn't drafted, so they didn't have any money invested in me where they felt like they had to keep me, right? So it was a grind, but for me to, be able to make the practice squad, that's how I started. I make the practice squad, and, I was able to move up and, just get a couple of games under my belt. But it was just really just me chasing the dream and bouncing around, from practice squads and that kind of stuff, trying to get onto the active roster for a season, but really didn't get a season. I got a few games. But, just the experience, man, of being what I call, just the Harvard of football. Right, it doesn't get any better than that. As far as understanding how the operations work on a day-to-day, how is a lot more teaching than playing, a lot more teaching than practicing. You spend your whole day, man, it's basically like a job. You come in at 8 o'clock, you leave at 5, but you're going through meetings, you're taking care of your body, you understanding, nutrition and, all that good stuff, right? Just understanding just how to run a program or organization at a high level, because you're talking about these organizations, these are really like Fortune 500 type companies, right? Yeah, so they got there for a reason, right? So the way they run the organization is totally different. And just being around some great people, man, some great players, and, just understanding, is different ways to skin a cat. True. Everybody's, not going to be the same, but you can still be successful and find ways to get stuff done.
Okay, so with your success that you had at Starkville, how does that carry on from, high school to college? Because I know it's a big difference. It's a big change in everything, the speed of the game. Mm-hmm. So how do you, transition from coaching the high school to now having to coach college, which you have to get these players ready for the actual next level?
I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think it's a big difference. I got, people may take this the wrong way. I got probably a little bit more respect for high school coaches, not that I'm disrespecting college coaches or anything like that, but, man, to come up that way I came up, I coached junior high. I did 7th grade, 8th grade, 9th grade. It was a grind. And you don't have all the resources. When I say resources, meaning you got a GA to help input the data. You got student assistants. No, you had to learn how to do all of that. So I'm appreciative of, coming up that way. And I just think, being on the high school level, it helps you become a better coach no matter what level you come to, because, you understand the real grind. I had to cut the field and line the field off and watch
everything yourself.
Yeah, man, great appreciation for high school coaches, man. The people only knew the grind and the stuff that they went through, man. And there's some really good high school coaches out there, some great minds who sometimes just don't get the opportunity, right? It's not that they can't coach. Some of them are just as good coaches as some of these people on these, Power 4 programs, right? They just didn't get the opportunity, right? But it's to me, it's a blessing to come up that way. Just like they say, out the mud, it's a different level of appreciation. Real talk,
when you actually grind for it.
Yeah, we ain't have GAs and people to wash the clothes. I wash clothes. We ain't have enough washing detergent. I went to the store and got it because I knew at the end of the day, when them kids come in this locker room, I want them to have fresh, clean clothes, right?
That's true. That.
So whatever it take type mindset. At the end of the day, you got to have that. Whatever it takes what it takes to get the job done if you want to be successful. So.
Okay, so you was Coach of the Year in 2023. How did that impact you? Just as being a coach, how did that, make you feel better towards, okay, now I can do this. This is my thing. I can continue to be a coach and impact the younger generation.
Right, you said in 2023?
Yeah, it was, yeah.
Every year, that's my approach, really. No matter what year, who's on the roster, I'm trying to impact the youth. You know, the model of each one teach one, like that's what we here for, like as coaches, right? Because truthfully, like without the kids and the players, we won't have a job, right? So we're here to make sure that, you know, we guide these kids in the right way and have an impact on them in the right way. And, you know, everybody want to chase this dream of being an NFL guy, being a professional football player and all that. But you know, you want to help kids chase the dream of being a pro in whatever you do, right? I want to be a professional landscaper, right? I want to be a professional barber, professional chef, right? So you take that same approach and you master that in whatever field you're chasing, right? I think that increases your chances, you know, to be successful, right? Because I took that same approach, you know, for example, if I'm a player, I take that same approach every day as far as competing to be the number one so I can start, so I can score a touchdown. And I take that same approach into whatever field of life. Like I said, I want to be the number one landscaper. Right. And guess what's going to happen? Like, you're going to be the best, and now you really getting paid, right? Right. So work to be the best. Like, we ain't working to be average in nothing we do, right? So we working to be, you know, we're working to be great. And it may not happen, but I bust my butt off to get there, and I'm going to get a little bit farther, you know, just by chasing greatness versus chasing average. We ain't doing that
at all.
So that's how I feel about it.
Okay, so like last year the team went 2-7. You know, now you taking over this role. You know, how does that impact your mindset of coming into it? You know, the people are saying like they need you to, you know, be the guy, the head coach. You know, they're excited about you. You know, the season didn't go well last season, and you know, with that, how does that weigh in on your shoulders? You know,
I'm gonna be honest with you, I really hadn't even thought about like looking at it from that approach, them going 2-7 last year. They just happened to have a bad year. I thought Larry was a good coach, but I mean, I'm not, you know, concerned about last year. Like my mindset is, you know, everybody is a clean slate, clean sheet of paper. We get to write our own story, right? So what happened last year, who was here last year on the roster, to me, none of that matters. Even if they, you know, just so happen to have won a championship last year, that's over with, right? So like we up to what's next. Yeah, new year, new roster, new crew, new mindset, right? So you get a chance to write your own story, you know, but you can't skip steps. Like I can't go from the first page to page 10. Right? It's a day-to-day grind. Like when you building your story, you know, the stuff that you do, you know, day-to-day is going to ultimately, you know, determine the outcome of this book at the end, right? So we're just trying to take it day-to-day. Everybody gets a clean sheet of paper and, you know, just write your own story. And, you know, you can be whatever you want to be. You know, you can be as successful as you want to be. You know, I think if you work hard enough, long enough, you know, good stuff's going to happen.
Okay, and, you know, the spring game is underway at 6:30 today. You know, what do you expect from your team? How did they do, you know, throughout the spring practice? Are you impressed with some things? Do you feel like you need to work on some things? How does it go?
It's going good. Sorry, but first, I think we had to change the time. It's now 5 o'clock. So for all y'all listening, it's going to be 5 o'clock. 5 o'clock, okay. Yeah, but right now, man, we're just trying to implement the culture that we're trying to create. You know, we want smart, tough, disciplined kids. You know, we want kids who are, they good football players, but they great kids, you know. Okay. So we're trying to build that roster, you know, that way. And just the culture of winning, right? You don't win on game day. At all. You don't even win at practice. Now, I don't think you win at practice. You win in the classroom. You win in the cafeteria. You show respect. It's yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. You treat people right. Like, good stuff happens. Yeah, that's right. Get the community. Football, like, the wins and losses take care of itself by, like, the work that you do before. Like I said, even before a game, like to me, even the preparation before practice, like when we having team meetings and you're fully engaged, you come in with pencil and paper, are you ready to learn, are you ready to work? The same way you would in the classroom. Like, are you on time, are you late? Like, that's what winners do. Like, winners win, like no matter where they go. That's just the way I look at it, because like winners do stuff differently from losers, and winning is a habit. Losing is a habit, so you have to create winning habits on a day-to-day, and that just happened to transition and carry over to game day.
Okay. So being the new head coach, you know, when you got hired, how did you feel? Like, where did you want your players to understand that your leadership came in, you know, with them not knowing who you are at all? Like, how did you approach that?
First, I got to be me. You know, I got to be who I am. I'm not trying to be nobody else but me. And, you know, being me is being genuine and, you know, caring for kids and wanting the best for people. You know, so I just take that approach and, you know, understanding that I have to treat all these kids like what if this was my son. And that's how I look at it. So I want the best for them the same way I want the best for my own, right? So I'm going to guide them in the right way. If you're hungry, I'm going to help you in that area. If you need help in class, I'm going to help you find a tutor, because I want to exhaust all my resources like for you to be successful. Like that's what I'm here for, right? I'm here to help you and guide you, you know. So that's my approach to kids. Like when you see me, like I'm here for you.
Right.
You know, at the end of the day, right? This ain't no facade. This ain't nothing fake that I'm putting on. Like this is gonna be genuine love on a day to day. And you've been around, man. You can tell what's real, what's not.
Right.
People who really care for you, people who don't. So just be genuine, be a good person, treat people right, and I think the rest will take care of itself.
Okay, so being Hinds' new head coach, personally, what are some things that you are looking forward to this season?
I'm just looking forward to, just competing, and just seeing, how the process, comes together. Like I say, I get that it's, the world wasn't built in a day. It's a marathon and not a sprint. So I just want to see us get a little bit better every day. Because I think small deposits, man, to me that builds up,
Yeah, 1% better.
1% better. Like, it's crazy, but, you can have a bank account and put a little bit in every day.
Yeah.
You can still get to your goal of being a millionaire or whatever you're trying to get to, right? But it's just getting a little bit better every day, I don't believe in staying the same. Because if you ain't getting better, you getting worse. Because if you staying the same and the guy to your right or to your left is getting better, like you still stuck in the same spot.
On you, right?
There you go, right? So we're just trying to get better every day, and also understanding that getting better every day comes with struggle, comes with being uncomfortable. Right. It comes with failure,
learning new things. And
you gonna fail. You're supposed to fail. If you don't fail, how you know how to correct it? And
don't run from it either.
No, embrace failure. Get better from it. Don't be afraid. So that's where we at with it, man. We helping kids, on a day to day to be the best version of them that they can be.
Okay. Thank you, Coach. A builder of programs, a motivator, a young man with a clear vision. Coach Chris Jones is a kind of leader who brings more than just wins. He brings legacy. We wish Coach Jones and the Eagles football team the best in their upcoming season, and make sure you all get out and support the team on Thursday night spring game.
5:00. Come check us out. Appreciate you.
And excuse me, sorry about that. Wednesday night.
Yeah, tonight. It's going down.